I just got a fantastic pump. And there's something about that. It's almost like the Newton's law of gravity. Every force has an equal and opposite force. And I feel like it's the same when it comes to the body. The more you put in to the weights, the more energy you put into the gym, the more effort you put into the work, the more it gives back. And not just in results, but in energy back. It gives you an equal amount of energy back that you put into it. And now you might be saying, well, that doesn't make any sense. When you work out, your muscles get sore and they get a bit weaker and they need to recover and rest. Which is correct, you're absolutely correct. But I think that energy that you get back gets put into your mind. While you damage your body, you're building your mind. When you do things that make you uncomfortable, they even hurt a bit, all of a sudden, your mind gets tougher. And you start realizing the potential within you. And I think, today, when I was walking my steps, I was walking past a dog park on this dirt road. And I saw some person, a woman, she was extremely obese, in the dog park, just sitting around on the phone, watching social media. At least that's what I'm assuming. And she wasn't even playing with her dog. And so I'm just thinking to myself, man, like there's people like this, people who just waste every second. And it's those people that feel tired as well. You go ask people like, how do you feel like? You go ask that woman who's obese, do they feel great? Do they feel amazing? Do they feel fantastic? No, they're gonna tell you that they feel tired. They feel tired, they're exhausted, but they haven't done anything. And so sometimes when you're tired, that doesn't mean that you need to rest, but that you need to do something. If you haven't worked out today, maybe you're tired because you haven't been active. Sometimes that's it. You have to put energy in to get energy back. You put in effort to get that energy and build your mind. And there's so many people out here, they're not putting in any effort into anything. They're not putting any, energy into anything. And then they get nothing back. And then they always feel tired, depressed. They're in a bad mood. They feel down. Because they never put anything out. Because when you put something out, you get something back. And it's so sad to see all these people. They have so much potential. But they don't even see their own potential. Most of these people, they can't even imagine themselves with a six-pack. They cannot imagine in their head, what will I look like with a six-pack? They cannot imagine themselves living the dream and, having a dream car or whatever. They can't even imagine it. Their mind, they haven't built it enough. Their mind is so weak that they cannot even imagine the possibilities that exist in this world. And it's those kind of people that say things like impossible. But I don't believe in impossible. The only thing that is impossible is impossibility. That's what I believe. People say, humans can't fly. It's impossible. And then some man goes and builds their mind to be strong enough to see the vision. First you have to see the vision. You have to have the bravery to imagine what will an airplane look like. And then they made it happen. Now humans can fly. Then they said you can't go to the moon, it's impossible. We're trapped on Earth, we cannot escape. Once again, they say it's impossible. And they feel like they're right, but they're fucking wrong. Because as long as you go out there and you build your mind, you do what's uncomfortable, you go through discomfort, you build your mind to be strong enough. You start going outside, you walk outside if nothing else. You go to the gym, you start that business. Even though you're failing, even though you're not getting the results that you want, even though you're not in any way succeeding yet, you're building the mind. And then you can see the vision. And then you can succeed. There was first the man who imagined the rocket. Then they made the calculations. They got it wrong multiple times. Then they did the engineering. Then it got wrong multiple times. They failed multiple times. How many times has SpaceX had a fucking rocket ship blow up? How many times has NASA had a rocket ship blow up? So many times. But you have to have that vision. You have to go through the pain and the discomfort and build it and give that energy, and then you get the energy back. You put in the effort, you put in the energy, you put in the time, and then it all builds the mind that can have the vision. And then one day, man was on the moon. No longer impossible. No longer impossible. Because someone put in effort and built that mind. And then they get the vision. They have a strong enough mind to where they can have that vision that then allows them to go and do it. But most people aren't willing to put anything in. But you have to build your mind. You have to go to that uncomfortable place where you test your mind. And then it grows. You know, like if you're tired, good. It probably means that you did something worthwhile. If you feel like you're constantly failing, then amazing. At least you're trying at something that's worth something. If you're failing, that means that you're trying. Amazing, fantastic. If you feel like you're going nowhere, then maybe that's just a sign that you're doing something worth doing, something that's big enough, hard enough, difficult enough, to where when you actually succeed, it will be worthwhile. Because if you do something that's super easy, that you just win at instantly, then what's all the effort for? What's the grand prize at the end? Like, imagine if you set your goal as, my goal is to drink water. Drink water. What are you going to achieve with that? What are you going to get with that? Even if you succeed, it's not worth anything. So you have to have a big goal. And to have a big goal and that big vision, you have to be brave enough to first build your mind. And then have the vision. And then you have to be brave enough to go and try it. Try and make it into reality. But most people are not willing to do that. They're not willing to even try. And you're going to have to be brave enough that when people say it's impossible, you ignore it. Because nothing is impossible. Once again, let me repeat this. Impossibility is impossible. Impossibility alone is the only thing that is impossible, because everything else is possible if you simply have the courage to try and to stay disciplined and to keep going down that path no matter how much it hurts. And at the end, you will realize that the pain you went through, the suffering you went through, the struggle was the thing that built you. And once you realize that you are the goal, the ultimate goal of life is you. When you're 80 years old, will you care about a number on a bank account? Probably won't. What you will care about is who you became, the stories that you have, the absolutely fantastic life that you lived, where you get to experience so many beautiful things through the pain. And so when you realize that you are the goal, then all of a sudden all the pain and the discomfort, it's no longer a negative thing. It becomes a positive thing that builds you, that actually gets you closer to the goal of you being the person that you want to be. And so every day, build your mind through discomfort. Every day, do something that's difficult and build it. Build your life to be the one that you want. And then, I promise you, one day, it will all be worth it. You'll look back and you'll see that you'll be the person that you want to be. All the things that you imagined would come true, came true, and you became the best person to ever see and that you've ever fucking witnessed in your life. So go out there, stay disciplined, chase your dreams, and have a fantastic day.